Hello. A very good afternoon to everybody out here. After the precursor, we will now move on to the core session of today's seminar, Sustainable Infrastructure for Urban Transformation, Building a Robust Foundational Framework for a Developed Nation. We are extremely honored to have with us to chair this core session our chairperson, who is also an alumni of Jadavpur University, Mr. Ujjwal Kanti Bhattacharya. Sir, I invite you to the dais, please. He is the MD, Managing Director of Steag Energy Services Private Limited, the former Director of Projects and Technical in NTPC. Thank you, sir, for being with us today. Next, I would invite on stage our speaker, Mr. Parveen Kumar Goel, Chief General Manager, Sustainability and Water, Engineers India Limited. I also invite on stage our speaker, Topon Kumar Bandyopadhyay, Chief Sustainability Officer and Executive Director, Safety, Sustainable Development, Environment and Ash Management, NTPC Limited, Corporate Section, Noida. I also invite on the dais our speaker, Mrityunjay Prashadji, Senior General Manager and Resident Director, Damodar Valley Corporation. One more speaker is still awaited. I now invite on stage our moderator, once again, Dr. Anindita Roy Saha. So, over to Dr. Anindita Roy Saha.
Good afternoon once again. Good afternoon, everyone. Continuing with the previous session and the issues which were raised, some of those could be addressed, some of the others we will continue discussing. So let us start with the 3S, science, state, and society. We were talking about possible solutions. So the role that science and technology has, the role that state has in terms of not only finances, but also in terms of governance, and finally society, that is all of us. So we together have to work, and if we want to work, we will work towards a sustainable future. This session is on sustainable infrastructure, and as we spelled out earlier, we will be talking about energy, power and water, waste management, and all these related issues. Issues of mobility and transport will obviously come when we are talking about urban centers. And finally, we will also talk about people and their habitats, their townships. How much sustainable can they be made and how they can be made sustainable. So all these issues will come up here in the discussion. We are really honored to have Mr. Ujjwal Kanti Bhattacharya as the chairman of this session, who has been an industry stalwart for a long time, 4 decades of his industrial experience. And he has been the face, the guiding force behind converting brownfield plants towards energy positive sites, a major task, a major achievement that NTPC takes forward. So we would request, I would invite Mr. Bhattacharya to share his opinion, his knowledge, his experience that he has from the field with this long journey, long experience, which I'm sure will show us the pathways for the future. Over to you, sir. And he is an alumnus of Jadavpur University. So Ujjwal, over to you.
Thank you, madam. A generous introduction, but the most endearing was the Ujjwal Da. So let's start. Some quick observations. As the day is progressing, the intensity of Hattali is going down. And that's obvious. It's almost 12:45 or so. And we are standing, this session is standing between you and the lunch. But be assured that we'll not take it too long and we'll give you some food for thought, right? First, let me assure you that I'm not going to tell my biography or autobiography and do some drum beating and utterly bore you. I'll keep it very short and simple. Some connects. First connect is there were some luminaries in earlier session, the first and the second. They have made almost everything known to you. If you are not aware earlier, I assume that most of you are aware. Maybe they have shown in more detail or a different light, which you will also try. Second thing is during our childhood, we used to be told about the adage, great men think alike and fools seldom differ, right? As the days have progressed, in the days of AI, I changed it. All speakers talk alike and GPTs seldom differ. So in the days of GPTs and days of internet, there will be hardly any space for anybody to speak differently. So I'll not even venture into the areas where people have already spoken, lest I should also be branded as a GPT seeker, which I am not. Yesterday night, I was talking to one of our German senior colleagues, because I work in a German company now. He wants to come to India. I was insisting, why now? He was not understanding. He had a feeling that probably I am trying to avoid. He told, I want to come and discuss many important issues. I told, come around February or so. Will it, now you go for Christmas? It was too early for Christmas. I told, okay, then what can I say? But I told that come with adequate arrangements and thoughts that you are coming to T3. He knows T3, which was built during the Commonwealth Games, a pride of Delhi and pride of India, Terminal 3 of Delhi. He told, yes, I have been to Delhi. T3 is a fabulous and beautiful thing and very sustainable, use the word, very modern, well planned, mind all the words. And every time he was telling all these things, my heart was sinking that when he comes to T3 in the midst of first week of December, maybe last week of November, the version of T3, in my opinion, that he will face is trash, traffic, and toxicity. And that's what we have created, not to blame ourselves only in India. It has been created throughout the world. In one way or other, even in developed countries, Bishop Rio keeps on moving almost every week or every month or fortnight at least. I don't move that much, but at least once in a while, maybe in 3 months or when I also go and see the degradation there also. Recently, I was in New York City, and while coming from, I saw the entire city in shambles. The great JFK airport area, if you go there, it's completely in shambles. They are redeveloping. And like in Delhi, it's in a mess. But that's the reality, and I will come to that context. Mr. Ghanshyam Prasad, very well known to all of you, my erstwhile colleague, Chairman CA, he told that what is the commonality that he came here. He told because it's Mr. Khattar being the common minister of power as well as urban development. So he came to, despite being CA chairman, to a seminar which is urban centric. Mr. Abhijit, the president of BCCI, he also was trying to create some link, and he created the link, common link as sustainability, why he is here and this session. The erudite Mr. Swapan Dasgupta, and I am an ardent follower of all his writings, extremely erudite one. He was trying to create a connect or link between sustainability and culture and paradigm and climate specific to particular country or zone. And there are many such connects trying to be created. I was trying to create a connect to this topic, the aspirational India and Jadavpur University. The aspirational India is known to all of us. We are all trying to go up. The days of Bengali cockroach and all these phenomena, despite being there to an extent, much reduced, India is progressing and will be progressing very fast. I am confident of that. The Viksit Bharat and other things I say less, otherwise probably I will be branded with some kind of thought process. I worked in government, I run that risk. But let me tell you, certain slogans and certain visionary statements are very useful and powerful for any country or community to develop and prosper. I take the Viksit Bharat from that point of view, not as a jumla, not as a sloganeering, but as a visionary statement. You have to challenge yourself, you have to set a right goal in front of you and strive for it. If not 2047, 2057, 2067, उतना ही सही, most तो जाएंगे ना कभी. Like Mr. JFK once told John F. Kennedy, that ask not what the country can do for you, ask what can you do for your country. So time has come for us not to look at the government and the authorities and tell, you are not doing this, you are bad, we are all omni-knowledge and omnipotent people, we could give you all solutions, you are not doing for us. So you have to find a solution. And that's the connect I find between the Jadavpur University, this congregation, and today's topic. This university, which had shown me the pathway to knowledge, nurtured me and given me a forum through which probably I'm standing in front of you today. This university and the Alumni Association, starting from the founder, chairman, Mr. Devi Kapoor, and many luminaries. You must be knowing the story of Mr. Devi Kapoor. Mr. Devi Kapoor was basically in Lahore. After partition, he was in engineering college there. He had to leave Pakistan for reasons you all understand, and he was in engineering college there already. He came to India, had no option to get any kind of things. He didn't have all his credentials and things. Nobody helped him. Ultimately, he went to Dr. Tribhuvan Sen and got into Jadavpur University and made a history for the Indian power sector because he was the founder father of NTPC, and through NTPC came Power Grid because Power Grid was erstwhile basically NTPC transmission line and spun off in 92 when it became a matured organization. So that's the kind of power of Jadavpur Forum, and I keep on meeting him once in 3 months. We have a forum of ex-MDs and directors. And he keeps on telling very sweet and good things, good memories about this university. I wish he would come someday, although he can't move much at his age. Coming to the aspiration in India, that everybody wants to go up in a democracy and in an equitable world, that should be the normal paradigm. But they go where? Where do they go? That brings to the topic of economics, where much more erudite and noted economists are sitting here. I can only say what I have understood and learned in my life, that in every society or every country, there are some growth engines. And these growth engines in a context of a country are the cities. If you see the highest GDP creator in the world, USA, I think it's $25 trillion economy in last year. The city of New York contributes around $2 trillion out of that. And next is Los Angeles, then pecking order, Chicago, and all these things come. Somebody was reading out, Devdeep was reading out certain data about India also. The maximum is created by Mumbai here, second is Delhi. Third, surprisingly, but luckily for us, is still Kolkata, fourth being Bangalore, like that. So cities are inevitable, cities are a must. The issue is, whether the cities will remain sustainable, whether the cities will be livable, whether cities will be inclusive, or cities will be the real magnet, economic as well as social magnet for a sustainable living and working, so that the Viksit Bharat 204 or 20x7, I call it 20x7, because in my own thoughts, having understood how we progress, how the world has progressed, 2047 may be an early call, but then the target should be high. But it is definitely 20x7, it may be 2057, we will reach there. So in this thing, we come to the issues of the cities and the rapid urbanizations. By 2050, somebody was giving the data, and you can Google and you will find out, 45 to 50% of Indians will be living in cities. Now, what are the kind of cities? How many cities have we created, if you really look into it, post-independence? And the pre-independence, some of the cities that we boast of today are too old and too unplanned, despite some planning here and there. There was in Delhi Urban Art Commission, which used to control. Somebody was telling that we used to see, Ghanshyam was saying, that single-story and two-story buildings in Delhi. Yes, when we used to come during our childhood days, Delhi being almost a second home from the very beginning of my life, now the home, Delhi used to be a sleepy town with tongas and all these things, but a beautiful town with very low-rise buildings and infrastructures. The roads are very wide, green, other things. The greenery percentage, some or other data says, is very high even in Delhi. It's the highest greenery percentage. We don't see it being Delhi, it's ourselves. We all see concrete jungles. Semi-high rises are taking shape. There are developments by NBCC, one of our sister organizations. Many debates can be made about the architecture and the way this is being done, whether we are creating modern townships and hamlets into that or creating modern shanties. We need to debate on that. But we need to create the cities nonetheless, as I said. So what is the option? We cannot destroy the existing cities, and we cannot recreate unless we have a comprehensive plan. So we have to reimagine. Erstwhile speaker, I think somebody I have forgotten, who was telling that she was talking to her 12-year child yesterday. You are telling, yes. A very emotive one. If you remember what the boy said. Mama, collectively, am I right? I listen very clearly. Are you collectively going to find a solution tomorrow that we can go to play football thereafter? Nothing can be more emotive than that. It reminded me my own experience when I told my daughter long ago to make a drawing of a modern city. She created some standard triangles and all these things which I do. I'm very poor in drawing. She took it on me. But then she created that with one glass cover, all encompassing, like a 40-kilometer radius glass dome above Delhi city. I told, what is this? She told, that will protect us from all kinds of rain, dust, storm, and everything. So that's the kind of things, radical thoughts, we have to reimagine. If we reimagine in this line, one thing which comes in the fore, to make it happen and to run it, it will require a lot of air conditioning, this dome kind of a structure, huge drainage, and also oxygenation and everything. So what you need is a large quantum of power. And that the connect between this seminar, this imagination, and topic of our session, power. I come from essentially of an energy industry, particularly power. It will be much easy for me to stand in front of you days and maybe more and give lectures, which is not relevant. I will not get into that. I can only say anything which has to be sustainable, It's not only reimagining our roads, it's not creating what we call, say, traffic intersection-less roads. Every intersection should be either an underpass or overpass, that is a flyover. We may think of a double-decker roads. We may think of ring road. We may think of metros with the last mile connected by bicycle, e-cycle, everything. I don't think we need to stand here and give lectures. Everybody of you must be having basic ideas on these things. Something may or may not be here and there. The issue is how to do it and how to sustain it. It requires huge amount of fund. It requires huge amount of dedicated effort. But most importantly, which in my life I have understood, we don't do the planning properly. We do plan for something which was required 5 years back. Infrastructure should be planned. I'll use a name, you dislike all of you. I am no disciple of him. I also dislike him because of his way that he ruled the country and hated the humanity at large, is Mr. Hitler. But he created what is known as Autobahn in Germany, and Germany transformed. And same thing when Mr. John F. Kennedy was asked that US roads are very good and maybe you are very rich. Kennedy in the 60s, he quipped, it's not our roads are good because we are rich. We are rich because our roads are good. And that's the connect. So if we reimagine our cities, we have to think in the line of what Hitler thought of Germany post First World War and what Kennedy said in the 60s, that we have to do it with proper planning, much ahead of the time. Infrastructure must succeed, not precede the requirement. Infrastructure come at least 10 years ahead of the requirement comes. Like the T3 is an example. Commonwealth enforced certain things on us. T3 was created. When you used to go to the T3 terminal, you used to find it's not very this thing used. Today, it's bursting at its seams. Noida Airport has come, and T2 has been redeveloped. So our infrastructure should be planned and should be developed and created much ahead of the time. It should be planned in a holistic manner, like a condominium should be created in such a way that for anything other than particular office and maybe super specialty hospital, you need not go beyond that boundary, gated community. Everything is there. Your mobility is reduced and your hassles are reduced and you can concentrate. Starlink is coming. It's already a reality. So broadband, using that, IoTs, IIoTs, those things will come. Already have started coming. We can take the advantage of this digital world, new infrastructure, new way of looking at things, and do it thing. But we cannot, as a developing country, with a per capita GDP, despite being a fourth largest economy, per capita GDP-wise, we are 1/25 of US, if I remember the data correctly. Ours is probably 2,800 per capita, US dollar. US is something around 67,000. New York City is $1,53,000. So we can't afford to waste our resources. We don't have too much of resources. So our approach and mantra should be first time right. So planning well ahead of time and first time right. If we take these approaches, I think purpose is served. Clean energy, the solutions are known to all of you. India is rapidly striding into that. Today, our total capacity in the country, installed capacity-wise, is roughly 400 gigawatt plus. It is going to be, it was earlier imagined as 777 in 2030. I used to call all my colleagues, it's very easy to remember, Boeing 777. But the day before yesterday, I was with Ghanshyamji in CEA for a conference, a meeting rather, and he told we are revising it. It's going to be anything between 820 to 860. That's the kind of pace and the development. 500 gigawatt was the share out of 777. That share is also likely to go up. My own earlier organization had kept a target of 1,30,000 megawatt, that is 130 gigawatt, by 2032. We revised it, and today it is 240 gigawatt, right? But these are all tall talks, because NTPC is, despite being the number one IPP in the world today and 10th largest in the world, still a long way to 240, because we are at around 90,000 megawatt. And that's the kind of stride we have to take. That's the kind of activities we have to think. And the mantle will slowly but surely go to the next gen, Gen Y, and another generation which you are still don't understand properly. My children belong to that. My son belongs to that generation, Gen X, Gen Z, and Gen Y. But this session will be meaningful if we really come out at the end of the day some practicable and affordable solutions which can be translated into reality. Otherwise, the session and the sessions will become only a sensation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible? Yes. Thank you, sir, for your very encouraging and thought-provoking opening statement as the chair of this session. And it was nice to hear about the role, the intergenerational responsibility that you talked about, the role of having the need for proper planning and implementation based on your experience, your opinion, and the true meaning of what we can do. We definitely take it forward, and we promise, we promise to do our little bit for sustainability. You talked about the power sector a little, but a more general overview in a more holistic fashion. So now we will have our speakers who will be deliberating on specific topics with special focus on their chosen sectors. So I invite Mr. Mrityunjay Prasad, who is the Senior General Manager at DVC, to give his presentation. We have 3 speakers lined up, so we will have about 5 minutes each because of the paucity of time, and then we will open the floor for question-answer sessions. So over to you, Mr. Prasad.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and namaskar to sabaike. My topic deals with coal supply chain. Sir is part of power sector, therefore it's my privilege to speak something about it. But first, the Damodar. The Damodar River, which is known as River of Sorrow, rather Bengal Sorrow, but now is a river of fortune. Many would agree, I suppose. Damodar Valley Corporation, which formed on 7 July 1948, has mandate to be a truly sustainable organization. For last 78 years, our journey has been in service of the nation in true sustainable way and transforming lives through water resource utilization and power generation in India. If you see the figure on the right side, it's a power map, rather we call it is a command area of DVC. It's situated in Jharkhand and West Bengal area, and the mother river Damodar with its tributaries of Barakar, Maithan, Barakar, Konark, Bokaro rivers, all situated in the region. And on the right side, we can see the coal fields of the Damodar Valley. We have Raniganj coalfield in West Bengal. We have Jharia, West Bokaro, East Bokaro, and North Kanpura in Jharkhand. You can see the similarities of the map. This is on the first slide I was talking about the Damodar River, and the second slide is a coal field. The DVC was formed to utilize this water resource and coal, fossil fuel available in the region. Talking about DVC, sir, we have a 6.5 gigawatt power plant right now with thermal capacity, with installed capacity around 6.7 gigawatts. We have a major expansion line out. Our first power plant was in Bokaro, which was established in 1953. Now, right now, we are running the third phase of the project. The second was in Chandrapura in 1964, where we have second phase of our plant running. Next, in Jharkhand, we have power plant in Kodarma, where 582 megawatts are running. In West Bengal, Durgapur was established around 1960s, and we have going to have a new plant over there with a new supercritical power plant. Very soon, we are going to start construction over there. Mejia power plant, which is the largest one with 2,340 megawatts, which have the mix of 210 megawatt, 250 megawatt, and 500 megawatt at single location. We have power plant in Raghunathpur with 600 megawatts into 2, and we have second stage also coming up with 660 megawatts. We have power plant in Durgapur Steel, and it's 500 into 2 megawatts. And in the second phase also, we are going to have in Kodarma, Chandrapura, and all these things. We have now switched to solar. We have solar power plants in Kodarma, and we have many new expansion coming up in solar sectors. In hydel, we have 3 power plants in Methan, Panchet, and Tilaiya. All are running and adding to the product mix of power. We have lined up pump storage system also in Lugur Pahad in Jharkhand and Panchet Hills in West Bengal. Though the things are not moving, it's another thing, but we have a big capacity over there. If everything goes by plan, by 2030, we are going to be 17 gigawatt with 40% from the renewable powers, aligned with the national determined goals. Talking a little bit about power sector, sir will agree that power sector is a very challenging, but interesting things. Though the operations are very complex, I have listed few of the challenges we face in power sector. Presently, the power sector has a competitive tariff system with entries of renewables and flexi operations. Plants are getting ramp up, ramp down. We have to run our power plant at technical minimum up to 40%. We have a challenge related to compliance of regulatory and environmental norms. We started construction as per mandate for FGD, and last July it was said by MOEF that you don't need FGD. Then it's another thing. The financial health of the plants, I know many independent power has gone sick because of this challenges. Coal quality assurance is another challenge. Whatever the coal is loaded at the loading end, same quality is not being received at unloading end. This is another challenge. Optimizing of the fuel cost and ECR to remain in the merit order dispatch. We have to maintain or optimize our fuel cost. Coal procurement, blending. Last year in 2023, we were asked to import coal from Indonesia and all these things, and blending was another challenge. Now there is a mandate for, MOEF mandate for co-firing of biomass with coal is another challenge because there are many issues related with it. We have a volatile socio-political framework. It's very much prevalent in Jharkhand and West Bengal area. The market dynamics and digitalization is another challenge. Fuel security, production, logistics, price response demands. Accordingly, multiple challenges poses due to the supply chain disruptions. This is a mural drawing which I did in Bokaro, where I was posted at Bokaro Thermal Power Station. It's a mural art I drawn in the wall. This basically depicts the coal supply chain in the thermal power plant. On the left side is the coal mines. You can see Hiva running with coal-laden Hiva running to the power plants. There is a BOBR rake, rail-mounted rakes, which comes to the power plant. Rake coming through the wagons are unloaded. Before that, weighment is done at weighbridge. From conveyor belts is fed to the stock yards. After stocking, the coal is fed into the hoppers for power plant for bunkering. And meanwhile, we used to do coal sampling. These are the few depictions, and the fuel oil used for flame stability. Talking about sustainability in coal supply chain. The first initiative which has been taken in recent past is first mile connectivity. It's eliminate road transport near mines to reduce pollution, congestions, and cost. By use of conveyor belts, in-pit crushings, automated loading system through silo on moving rakes, already around 67 projects has come up, and around 107 project is coming up. CIL targets to transport about 1 million tons through mechanized handling. This will give the sustainability by reducing traffic, truck traffic, lowering emission, improve air quality. The new coal logistic policy talks in favor of rail logistics. All the future coal transportation will be rail mode. Accordingly, new dedicated rail lines are being built, connecting to the FMC's points. 13 rail projects are being coming up in PPP model. One project which I visited was in Tori-Sipul line, whereas a new infrastructure has been built up with collaboration of CCL. Multimodal transportation is another aspect which addresses sustainability through road, sea, rail. NTPC is transporting to your plants on the western side, from eastern side coal dispatched through sea mode. But there are issues of transshipment which we faced when we transported through the multi-mode of road cum rail transportation. The another thing is the MOC and CA are very much mandating to transport coal through captive mode. They are asking to design plant within 100 kilometers to transport coal through merry-go-round system in a rail mode. Similarly, a captive mode with conveyor, pipe conveyors are built right directly from mines to the power plant, and this reduces the dust-free movement of coal and is a very economical way also. All these things, new initiatives, will help reduce logistic costs by 14%, saving around 20,000 crores annually. This enhances supply chain reliability, support India energy security goals. Talking about transformation in coal supply chain, a bold initiative in policy is required, a strategic transformation from push-based to pull-based coal supply chain logistics. Actually, what happens, the coal companies are producing coal and pushing to the power plant. Rather, it's a demand-driven. We envisage somehow in future when there is a demand-based market where just-in-time inventory can be maintained at power plant for stock management. Sourcing. Commercial coals are coming up with new market dynamics. There is a pricing mechanism developed by ISI for National Coal Index, which necessitates a new market dynamics. Very soon we are going to have a coal regulator, I suppose CCO is going to be announced, and a coal trading market through coal trade exchange. I suppose in this month only it will be announced. Logistic, as talked in the last slide, first mile connectivity to the last mile connectivity through MGR or all railways. Role of railway is very critical to transportation of coal. There is requirement is felt to include railway as one of the third party in fuel supply agreement. There is need to augment the rail infrastructures, infuse new rolling stocks, and improve turnaround time, because the coal transportation time is very slow, I suppose. Accordingly, for optimization and modeling, AI-powered decision support system, dynamic routing, and network optimization being a way forward. On coal quality, sample collection, preparation, and assessment, testing and assessments are very reactive and time-taking. With the advent of new technology of AI/ML and its deployment modeling, we can ascertain GCV instantly, and this will help in optimizing our coal combustion. And lastly, talking about the clean energy, coal gasification by converting coal to syngas, which being the feedstock for power generation, for chemicals, to CTLs, liquids, can improve environment and economics of energy sector. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Prasad.
Any questions, if I can answer?
Thank you, Mr. Prasad. As our chairperson mentioned when he started his speech, that this session is in between, the previous session and lunch. So we have to keep that in mind, that there is a paucity of time. So I would request the next speakers to try to be, focused and to the point, so that we don't leave people hungry and disinterested. So I invite Mr. Asim Prasad now. He has just joined us. Welcome, sir. So Mr. Asim Prasad, who is an environmental expert at GAIL, and he has been with BCCI also, and he'll be speaking on clean energy for urban regeneration. Over to you, sir.
My name is Asim Prasad, and I am Executive Director in the Corporate Strategy, Planning, Advocacy, and Corporate Affairs Department at GAIL India Limited. I have been associated with several new initiatives that relates to clean energy transition, decarbonization at GAIL. As you may be knowing, we are responsible for transporting and distributing natural gas in the country. GAIL shares happens to be around 66 to 67% in the natural gas basket that is being consumed currently. We are also in the city gas distribution business alongside our group companies. And in the slides that I will be showing right now, I have 5 to 6 slides. Maybe I will be focusing on the urban transformation, what is the government's policy, what is the framework, what is the primary energy consumption mix, why there is a need to transition towards clean energy, and which are the contemporary energy sources that promotes net zero transition by 2070 in the country. So if you look into India's aspiration for Viksit Bharat, focusing on urbanization and smart cities, what we find that the policy statement is very clear. It talks about proactive urbanization, which is an opportunity and for growth in the country. Policy promotes a paradigm shift towards holistic, planned, and sustainable urban development. If we look into the key pillars, what promotes urbanization, what promotes increasing the per capita energy consumption, and a good livelihood. The first happens to be the cities, which are considered as economic growth drivers. Then there is implementation of comprehensive and integrated urban mission flagship programs. This is the second thing which the policy talks. It also talks about urban planning reforms and capacity building, where human asset happens to be one of the key pillars to improve the standard of living of the common masses. Rather than following a project-based approach, the policy ensures that whatever outcomes are there, they are based on funding. The decision has to be driven based on data governance. These ensures that the citizen needs and aspirations are met. The last pillar happens to be, it relates to sustainable and inclusive development for integrated environmental and ecological sustainability, climate resilience, and social inclusion. So these are the key pillars. If we look into the integrated policy framework, what it manifests is that efficient city governance and social development that will always be in equilibrium with infrastructure development for public health. So this is what, in a nutshell, this policy tells. If we go deep into this, what we find that governance structure is given the highest priority. If we look into the urban policy framework, what are the tangible aspects? Achievement of sustainable development goal for inclusive, resilient, sustainable, and safe environment and living holds key. The second thing that is important is strengthening the urban local bodies through decentralization and financial empowerment. This is the second point which comes. The third thing relates to inclusive development via housing, sanitation, urban mobility, and rejuvenation of projects. There are many projects across the country which is getting rejuvenated now, and that list is already available. If you look into the policy framework, it talks about ease of living, responsive governance, sustainable environment, robust economic growth for livelihood opportunities. So these are some of the keys that provides input to enhancing the clean energy transition in the country. The per capita energy consumption for India, it has risen by 3% compounded annual growth rate ever since 2022. Even though it is rising, our per capita energy consumption happens to be around 26 exajoules per capita, which is much low or almost 2.367 times lower than the world average. IEA states that maybe by 2040, the focus on urbanization will lead to increase in primary energy consumption, where clean cooking, water heating, lighting, new technological advancement in the appliances that we are using will form the key. If you look into the primary energy consumption, currently India happens to be the third largest primary energy consumer across the globe. Our consumption is 40.81 exajoules. We are next to US, which is more than double, and then China, which is more than 4 times. However, in the last 10 years, the growth rate in India's primary energy consumption mix has been 2.44%, as against 0.8% globally. That means people are inclined to use more energy to improve their standard of living. It is for industrialization, and it is also for socio-economic sustainable development. Our primary energy consumption mix constitutes about 90% fossil fuel, that is derived from coal, 56%, oil, and then natural gas. Due to this burning of fossil fuel, lot of emissions are there that promotes global warming, leading to ill effects for climate change. If we look into our energy policy, India's energy policy, it aims to balance the economic growth with sustainable development, ensuring energy security while at the same time achieving and mitigating the ill effect of climate change. At the end, the target is net zero by 2070. So decarbonization and energy transition happens to be the key for urbanization and improving the socio-economic development of the country, while also ensuring that the energy trilemma triangle stays balanced, comprising energy security, energy equity, affordability, paying capacity of the consumers, and then environmental sustainability. Transport sector happens to be the one that pollutes or emits most of the carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. And if we need to see what are the options available, we have clean or the cleanest fossil fuel, that is natural gas, comprising compressed natural gas, CNG. Then we have biofuels, the most prominent one being biomethane or the compressed biogas. We have batteries, we have green hydrogen, we have SAF, we have blending of ethanol into petrol and diesel. I was talking about the city gas distribution, and out of the 307 geographic areas that has been authorized by the regulatory board, GAIL presence happens to be in 72 geographic areas. Currently, we are supplying piped natural gas to nearly 1 crore Indian domestic consumers for clean cooking in their kitchen, out of the 1.5 crore PNG connection that has been provided. If you look into the CNG landscape or the CNG stations, out of the 8,200 CNG stations that is operational, GAIL operates along with its group companies around 3,200 currently. We are present in almost all the cities for supplying clean energy in the form of compressed natural gas, piped natural gas for the domestic segment, piped natural gas for the industrial segment, and piped natural gas for the commercial segments like hotels, where they are dominantly using PNG. This is one of the projects that we took, and it promotes urbanization, is related to setting up of floating CNG station in 2 ghats in Banaras, where nearly 900 boats are currently operational. It improves their livelihood, it improves their marine life, and it promotes sustainability in the area where this is operational currently. LNG happens to be one of the fuel where lot of emphasis is being given for long haul transport. If we compare LNG with diesel or petrol, what we find that its density is much higher than liquid fuel, that is diesel, that it commonly replaces. In terms of the total cost of ownership, it is slightly cheaper than diesel. However, if we look into the emission that is being generated by a vehicle that is powered by LNG as against a vehicle that is powered by petrol or running on diesel, the emissions are 30 to 35% less. So it promotes urbanization. Lastly, the government's focus has been on different sources of energy, mostly renewable. Compressed biogas happens to be one of them. If we look into the policy, it promotes use of different types of waste, like the municipal solid waste, agricultural waste, and other forms of waste. for scientific management so that methane can be prepared or generated, and that can be blended into the natural gas. It can also be used on a standalone basis to support clean energy transition in the transport segment. This year itself, around 32,000 metric tons of CNG biogas has been blended into the natural gas network till September. And the target is that 5,000 plants has to be set up in the coming years. That is the target that has been given by the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. And it is anticipated that if all the biogas plants have been set up, around 50 MMSCMD of gas would be generated. Other areas where the government is focusing is on ethanol. It is 2G ethanol, 3G ethanol. It is also about biocrude development from seaweeds. It is also about sustainable aviation fuel for the aerospace, and then the green hydrogen mission that was established in some time in January 2023, where the targets are ambitious, and 5 MMTPA production capacity has to be established by 2030. And the vision is that India is going to be a major hub, not only for consumption of green hydrogen, but also for its export. So if we look in a nutshell, if we look into our energy policy, what the country aspires, what the common man aspires, it talks about affordability, it talks about availability, it talks about sustainability, it talks about technological innovation, while policy and regulatory reforms has to be there. International collaboration will be very important to bring in new technology which can be used by the common persons, it can be used in the commercial segment, it can be used in the industrial segment, so that the Viksit Bharat targets for 2047 can be achieved, and that will lead to the energy transition or net zero by 2070. So this is what I thought that it will be interesting for the audience as regard the role of energy transition and decarbonization comes with respect to urbanization and improving the standard of living of the common masses. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prasad. Thank you for your deliberation on various clean energy options. I now invite Mr. Praveen Kumar Goel, who is the Chief General Manager for Environment, Water and Safety, Environmental Impact Assessment at EIL. So over to Mr. Praveen Kumar Goel. As we are moving towards lunch, the time is actually getting much and much less, and therefore I would request the speakers to please keep to time. Thank you.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. At the outset, I would like to express my gratitude to the organizing committee for inviting me to share my thoughts on this extremely important topic. Adoption of sustainable practices for water and waste management is becoming more and more important, particularly in the last decade or so, due to alarming threats to our ecosystem. We all know what is sustainability. It is meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. A famous quote by Mahatma Gandhi says that the world has enough for everyone's need, but not enough for everyone's greed. This signifies the need to adopt sustainability practices now before it becomes too late. Sustainability is a wide spectrum. Today I'll be restricting my talk to sustainable environmental solutions. So what we should do? We should adopt energy efficient processes and treatment system. We should reduce water and carbon footprints. We should enhance CO2 sink and biodiversity for sustainable ecology. No one really thought about circularity in last century, as there was enough water even in our house taps for human consumptions. We had clean rivers for our agricultural and industrial needs. But when these resources started shrinking, we looked for alternate sources to the fresh water. And wastewater was one of the sources to recover water from the sewerage to meet the human needs, mainly in industrial and the agricultural sector. Here comes the concept of water circularity, which redefines urban water management by shifting from a linear use and dispose model to a closed loop system where water is reduced, reused, and regenerated within cities. Typically, we can recover more than 70% water from sewage without any negative effect on the downstream ecosystem. And these are significant numbers considering the quantum of wastewater is generated in our cities. This is a data on water consumption worldwide. 69% of the water goes to agriculture, 90% goes to industries, and 12% goes to private households. And if we talk of per capita consumption, it varies largely. It varies from 575 liters per person per day in US to 15 liters per day per person in Ethiopia. These numbers themselves speaks of the need to adopt sustainability. My next two slides is based on water circularity on the industrial water demand, that's 19%, and the private household, that accounts for 12%. So this is a conceptual flow diagram of wastewater recycling in industries. As we saw in last slide, 19% of the water consumed goes to industries, and major portion of that comes as effluent or wastewater from that industry. Standard practice in last century was to treat that water and dispose it to the river. That's what we did for long. Today, we have the reliable technologies available to treat this effluent and put it back to the industry as industrial water. There are plants which are operating for 2 decades, which are treating the most complicated refinery effluent to generate demineralized water, perhaps the purest form of water. So we have the technologies available to do that. And there are plenty of plants which are operating now in refinery or hydrocarbon sector to achieve DM water from the effluent. And these plants can be designed to recover each and every drop of water. The plants which we can design now can achieve recovery more than 99%. That's practically 100% of the water we can recover. All plants which are being envisaged now, especially in the hydrocarbon sector, they are either designed with the recycle system with 70-80% recovery, or they're designed with the absolute water recovery, depending on whether it's a coastal refinery or a landlocked refinery. This is another case study of sewage reclamation, which EIL did for Chennai Metro Water Supply and Sewerage Board to reclaim high-quality industrial water from city sewage. Chembarakam Lake is the major source of supplying water to Chennai city, both for drinking water needs and for the industrial water needs. So when the city grows, the drinking water demands grows, there was shortfall of water to the industry. But we need to sustain the industries also. So what the alternate source was to treat the sewage and give the industrial water, a high quality industrial water to the industries, which can replace the supply from the river. So this particular project was envisaged to recycle 65 MLD of treated sewage from Coimbatore STP to recover 46 MLD of high quality industrial water, which was supplied to the industry. And this 46 MLD is equivalent to feed the domestic water demand of 3 lakh population. And we can have several such plants in multiple cities. If we see the quantum, they can provide a viable gap, they can bridge that gap between the water supply and the water demand. This is another topic which is very important and close to everyone, municipal solid waste, where significant attention is required for environmental conservation and promoting circular economy. In metro cities, whenever we think of municipal solid waste, the first picture which comes to our mind is the mountains of garbage. Within the habitated areas, within the cities, only out of the cities, polluting air, waters, land, we all know about that. The second unfortunate picture which comes to our mind is the small children segregating waste at the landfill sites for their livelihood. Then the question comes, is this the way we should manage our waste, especially when India is moving towards Viksit Bharat? Absolutely no. We all know the answer, but then we need to play our part of the role. Today, we have technologies available to convert waste to wealth. We can convert waste to compost by aerobic digestion. We can convert waste to electricity by incineration. We can convert waste to bio-CNG by anaerobic digestion, as well as we can convert waste to biofuels such as ethanol. So each and every component of the waste can be a resource to generate wealth. As an estimate, about 2.24 billion tons of solid waste gets generated in 2020 worldwide. That's amounting to about 0.79 kilograms per person per day, and that is expected to grow to 3.88 billion tons in 2050. That's a 73% increase. So after segregation and recovery of recyclables, dry portion of the waste can be incinerated to generate electricity, whereas wet fraction of the waste can be anaerobically digested to generate biogas, which can be further purified to generate bio-CNG, which can be used as fuel in automobiles, or can be used as an alternate to natural gas for domestic and industrial applications. Typically, 1,000 tons per day of dry waste can generate more than 10 megawatt of electricity. And 1,000 tons per day of wet waste can generate about 40 tons per day of bio-CNG. You can multiply these numbers to estimate the waste to wealth potential our country has. Especially if we consider Delhi alone, the waste generation in Delhi alone is more than 10,000 tons per day. So the quantum of wealth or the energy we can generate from this waste is tremendous. And apart from that, no landfill, no pollution, no children picking up, segregating waste at the landfills. This is a simplified flow diagram of waste to bio-CNG or CBG plant. Various types of waste. There are just a few examples: the cattle dung, the agri-waste, the organic fraction of the municipal solid waste or the press mud. They can be converted to CBG or bio-CNG. Apart from this, we also get the fermented organic manure, which is an excellent source of carbon enhancer for the soil. This CBG is emerging as a viable alternative to imported fossil natural gas and enhancing energy security of the country. So whatever CBG we produce or bio-CNG we produce, that's a direct replacement of the energy we buy from outside. It reduces our import bill, it increases the energy security which we have. Government of India is also giving a lot of thrust to boost this sector, the CBG sector, the waste to CBG sector. There are various incentives offered by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, and various other nodal agencies. These incentives are in terms of subsidies on the capex, benefits during the operation, and many such things. Due to paucity of time, I won't be able to discuss in detail, but I'd be happy to discuss after during the break time. So this is my last slide. What at Engineers India Limited we can offer in environmental sectors. We can offer services in industrial water and effluent treatment, seawater desalination, effluent recycle and generate systems, EIA studies, efficiency improvement studies for the operating plants with the water or the wastewater or the process plant, water footprint studies to establish the footprint we as industry are leaving on the society. Biodiversity improvement studies, again, biodiversity is the carbon sink to achieve net zero, solid and hazardous waste management, and waste to energy plants, as I said, whether waste to electricity or waste to CBG. And we serve all major segments. We provide services to oil and gas, infrastructure, chemical and metallurgy, fertilizers, power, nuclear, defense, and this is just a small list. We provide all services in the environmental sector. So thank you so much for your patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Goyal. Thank you for bringing in the other dimensions of water and waste after the discussions we heard earlier on energy and coal supply chain. So there are several issues which we can continue to discuss later. I now quickly invite our last speaker of the session, Mr. Tapan Kumar Bandyopadhyay. He's also from NTPC. He's the Chief Sustainability Officer and Executive Director for Safety, Sustainable Development, Environment and Ash Management. He'll be speaking on sustainable measures for power generation and township management, where communities also get into the picture. Over to you, sir.
Ma'am, are we going to deduct some time from my allotted time because
Not
of the
at all, sir,
additional
not
time
at all.
taken by the other speakers? No?
Not at all,
Absolutely.
please.
So
Please
because
share your
lunch is
thoughts.
a daily event and this is an occasional event, so I suppose that if the daily event can be postponed for a few minutes, that's not, doesn't matter much, no? I suppose so. So, thank you very much for inviting me here. First of all, if I take 1 minute for gratitude, because this event is being organized by Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industries, which is really creating the roadmap of industrialization in our beloved state of West Bengal. So I am very, very happy to be here for their purpose, as well as Jadavpur University, who are our compatriot. I am being an Shivpurian. I have always been very, very proud for Jadavpur University because it's always been one of the best institutions, absolutely rated every year. Whatever goes on there, whatever whole color of goes on there, every time it comes on the top. So that gives us immense pride to be in Bengali, being with Jadavpurians. So thank you, Bishop Priyo, Sudeshna, and all of you. So thank you very much for inviting me here. Respected chairman of the session, UK Bhattacharya sir, who has been our stalwart in this industry. You all know from a director, NTPC, who has been instrumental in making so many roadmaps, and he's still strong enough to lead that industry in another different capacity. My co-speakers from Engineering India Limited, who designs many of those big plants and townships for us, for one of our biggest partners, Gas Authority of India Limited, as well as from Damodar Valley Corporation. So, and all those very, very learned places from Jadavpur University, who is known for creating and expanding talents all over the world. And everybody present here. So me, Tapan Kumar Bandyopadhyay, I'm an alumni from Shivpur B College, passed out in 1987, and for last 38 years, I have not lived in any city, so what do I know about urbanization? So that's the biggest thing. Probably I will be talking on what NTPC is trying to do all these years, and particularly now on sustainability. And of course, with a little bit of townships, we have whatever the practices we are doing in our townships, so that those can, if at all, come at any help of your purpose while designing or thinking of, ideating of anything about the urban infrastructures which are really supposed to be sustainable enough for the next generation to live on. So thank you very much. I'll be moving on. Let's not talk about this. Everybody knows probably. Now, as sir has told also, we have a power portfolio of 85 gigawatt, and there are more than 117 gigawatt we are going to be shortly, because under construction 27 gigawatt, and most importantly 21 gigawatt out of which is a renewable energy mix. We want to be a 149 plus 1 gigawatt PSP at 2032, as told rightly that our previous target of 130 gigawatt has been revised, aligning us with the projected power demand of the country, which is, if the economic growth rate of 6.5% is to be believed in next, and India, if it is going to be a 25 to 30 trillion dollar economy, then definitely you are going to have 800 gigawatt plus in the future. And as our Honorable Prime Minister has committed, that you have to become net zero by 2070, and there will be stops, as Sarah told, that 20x7, like 2047 will be the first stop. where we'll be assessed that how far we have progressed. Now, as I told, capacity under construction is 32.5 gigawatt, and there are few more things which we want to tell that as NTPC is the largest power producer in the country, so we have threefold responsibilities, and all three folds are parallel, simultaneous, not one, two, three. Nothing comes first, nothing comes second, and nothing comes third, as we have to provide at first the energy security, ensuring the energy security, which I had just talked about. Then, of course, the rapid growth in the renewable energy portfolio. And third will be further making our processes, our operations, all our processes, business processes, more and more efficient with state-of-the-art technologies and the skilled human base we have. So these three things, we are moving very fast, and I think that NTPC is moving closely towards completing 1 lakh megawatt very soon. And during this 50th years of NTPC, we must thank all our partners in this noble progress also. Now, if we see how are we going to have our energy portfolio and how much sustainability efforts will be there, definitely it will be renewable energy focused sustainability infrastructure of the energy mix we are going to have. We will have at least 60 gigawatt of renewable energy at 2032, and there are many others. You know very well that we have made our forays into nuclear power. Construction and all works are going on in one of the plants, and there are further progress plans are also there. Then there are afforestation initiatives. We have planted 40 million trees till date, and you will be delighted to know that on 7th November, on the birthday of NTPC, the 50th birthday, we planted 70,000 trees, means the 50,000 trees we completed in first 2 hours in the morning on that very day across all our stations in the country. Then we have green chemicals and hydrogen mobility, then waste to charcoal, biomass co-firing as being told by them. And of course, we have to go with the brownfield expansion. There is no way. Coal is going to be a mainstay, and we are also expanding our capacities, and mostly in the brownfield expansion, wherever we have our plants already, and this is called that high efficiency, low emission technology. So we are very, very cautious that capacity addition to the coal front may not give the excess amount of emission into the atmosphere, because coal is not only the pollutant, all of you know. And we are there to definitely purify and further purify the emissions, and we have provided all sorts of systems which actually makes our energy cleaner and much, much cleaner than it used to be. We have floating solars, and you must be knowing that we have the Asia's first floating solar in one of our projects called Simadri. We have the largest floating solar of this country in Ramagundam and in Kayamkulam also. So that is one field which we are exploring, and probably we'll be going further into that floating solar capacity. Then energy storage is also coming up there. That is, of course, in the very, very pilot and primitive stage now, but we are hopeful that we will be the pioneer to explore this field, and we'll be going with energy storage system, because when you have the solar and when you do not have the sun, then you have a problem, and then you need battery energy storage systems, and that is one area which has to be explored, and NTPC is very, very I say agile to explore this field. And there will be, of course, pump storage projects also will be taking up. Sorry. Don't worry, I will not read out all this. Now, let me talk about a little bit of the green hydrogen mobility project. It has been conceptualized as a very, very big project. It will require nearly 7,000 megawatt of power, and this green power has to come, and it has been set up, this mobility center has been set up in Pudimarka in Andhra Pradesh. It will produce green hydrogen, green ammonia, green methanol, and sustainable aviation fuel, green urea. The total area will be almost 600 acres, and it will have immense, tremendous investment, much more than 1 lakh crore. So that is going to come as a very big project as the total country. The whole of the country is looking into that project. And once it comes up in few years, then it will solve a lot of our green energy issue, and it will come up, we all hope so. We are having some other green initiatives, like we are running hydrogen fuel buses in Leh and in NCR regions also. Then we have carbon dioxide to methylene plant in our Vindhyachal project, and then hydrogen to PNG blending is also in one of our plants. Then there are carbon capture and utilization CCU pilot projects we are having. Just now I told CO2 to methanol plant at Vindhyachal, CO2 to sustainable aviation fuel in Pudimarka, as well as there are some other CCUS initiative. Some initiative has been taken into the ground. CO2 has been injected into the ground. Then one initiative like biomass co-firing. This is one of the sustainable option and the clean environment option while still using coal as a fuel is a biomass co-firing. This all of us know that this air quality index of Delhi and NCR region, and this one of the reasons have been identified as the stable burning of those crop wastes. So those crop wastes are being converted to biomass fuel, and those biomass fuel are being co-fired along with coal in our plants, and most of the NTPC plants are doing so. And NTPC, let me tell you that NTPC is almost the only power generator who is doing so. Then some other initiatives like waste to value, waste to energy projects in waste to charcoal projects. We have our waste to energy project at Varanasi. It is being operated right now. And there are some other projects which have been taken up also. Now, if we say that coal is there, power generation, power requirement is there, so coal is there and coal will be there. So the option is to make the energy cleaner, to make that emission less. So the way is to improve the efficiency. So we are improving the efficiency. We are using the state-of-the-art technologies, and the power plants we are coming up, we are setting up. They are further and further. They are more efficient. The last have been set up at Telangana is having 42% in comparison to the one which is in Vindhyachal, which had 38%. This means that there will be a lot of saving of coal and thereby a lot of saving of carbon dioxide emission. Now, a little bit about the net zero initiatives in our townships, which may help in the urbanization, the cities and the township, the societies. Because these are something like the consumption of energy in the townships, consumption of water in the township, the management of waste are normally not monitored and not looked after in that way, the way we look after into our main businesses. But these are so vital and so important these days that we are now taking up all our townships with this target of net zero in energy, water, as well as in waste. 3 of our townships have already been certified from Indian Green Building Council, and all the townships have been given a target of becoming certified in this financial year and the end of the next financial year. When we see that the energy, then naturally you have to arrange for alternate energy, which is green, which is not from the fossil fuel generated. At the same time, you have to see that the energy requirement may be less by plugging the wastes and by using the higher efficiency devices. And that should go down to each and every homemaker in our country, that he or she cannot have that luxury of using to his or her will. These are precious natural resources which are to be saved. Energy saved is energy generated. Now, because of all these efforts, you all know that this ESG, that environment, social and governance rating, is a very, very important rating for any organization to work. And that's what the investors look into. And there are many tough agencies who really do not rate you as you desire. So one of those is MSCI throughout the world. And we can say proudly that the first time NTPC's score, NTPC's rating has come out of the triple C to upgraded to B in 1 decade. This is the last, this has been possible by making our initiatives into safety, social, and governance sector. And there is another agency called Sustainalytics, whose risk rating score is now on the verge of converting us from high to moderate, which we hope that we will be taking into that also very shortly. So in this segment also, we are doing quite well and showing others that yes, it is possible. We have put all sorts of emission control equipments in our plants. For sulfur dioxide emission, we have put FGD in all our plants, flue gas desulfurization. Flue gas desulfurization units where it was required by the studies, so it was set up. NTPC only did it. After now, again, there has been a rollback, and probably many other sectors will not take it up, but NTPC has decided to go on with it, and wherever we have set up, we will be running this for the purpose of making and keeping the environment cleaner and cleaner. We have all nitrogen dioxide emission control equipments in place. We have the suspended particulate matters emission control equipments in place. We have ambient air quality monitoring stations all over our plants and townships, and going further ahead, we have set up these AQMS stations in the nearest cities also to show that we are not the polluters, but who are the polluters, you can show that you can identify. And that's what exactly happened during the COVID period. I can tell you just one instance. One of our very big plant, which is set up in Chhattisgarh, every day there are hue and cries from the societies, from many quarters, that you are creating pollution, people are getting sick because of the pollutions. Fortunately or unfortunately, during the COVID period, when all other industries went off, then every activity stopped. Only NTPC plants and, of course, our the power plants only went on running. And our growth was 23% more than the previous year during the COVID period, which helped in all those operations and making the COVID patients out of danger. During that period, we could be able to show the people that, see, NTPC plant is running, nothing else is running, and there is the air is absolutely clear. You can see from a distance. So that's what the kind of assurances we have, and we have been able to establish the trust in the whole of the society into the mind of the government also that yes, anything and everything can be possible by NTPC, and that is the extra responsibility we have, and that's what we are shouldering for years now, and we have a commitment to further take it up again. As we told that water conservation also, we have come down. The trend shows that over the years, we have come down on the water conservation also. With many of these systems in place, like rainwater harvesting, like your reusing of the waters which are you consume in the plants, you absolutely treat them, you treat the effluents also, you treat the sewage water also, and you reuse in your purpose, thereby reducing the water quantity which we are withdrawing from the natural resources like the rivers and all these things by saving the precious natural resources. And there are many biodiversity conservation initiatives which we are doing, including you can see our Farakka plants in doing the fishing, breeding the fish eggs into the river Ganges, the eggs of Solomon fishes. We are doing it every year, in fact. There are many other. The Simadri plant has seen that endangered olive ridley turtles for that 300 to 400 kilometer coast of the south coast, and we have seen till that species have come out of that endangerment. Now they have been declared not endangered anymore. There are a few different others. One of these I must mention here because this is again very close to my heart and very close to your heart also. This is one of the projects we have taken up with Botanical Survey of India very recently in the Asia's largest botanical garden, very side by side to my alma mater, B College. And this had a proposal from government, and this has been declared as the largest ever government-funded sustainability project in the country ever. And this old, not only the old building, but also the 400-500 years old, the leaves, which are almost getting into extinct, those will be restored and digitized, and these projects will come up. Then at least we think that something in Bengal also will come up, and this will also give a sustainability backup to our beloved state. So just now I was talking of this, many of our initiatives toward the sustainable generation process, as well as the kind of net zero initiatives and those environmental protections, the natural resources conservation processes, which we have been able to get into our townships in all across the country. I know that the main theme of this conference, which has been the sustainable infrastructure probably for urban living, as I told that I have not been in any city in the last 38 years, so I may not be the right person to talk about what could be the pain and what could be their addressals in the cities, but definitely feel the pain and definitely want all of you, because you have led the country, you have led this segment every time. The Jadavpurians, the Alumni Association of Jadavpur, of course, I would say that led that in that noble mission, let the Alumni Association of my own college also take place. And jointly we can make a mission towards making the future, making the place, making the country, making the soil, so that the next generation can live on. Thank you very much.
I express my heartfelt thanks to all the distinguished panelists who have given a very engaging session where we have heard various dimensions of urban infrastructure. We have heard from the chairperson about the national policies, the national priorities and prerogatives, and also we were made aware of the intergenerational responsibility that we all hold. And the subsequent speakers, they have deliberated on various aspects of clean energy, the problems associated with the fossil fuel supply chain. Fossil fuel still remains at the center of our discussions. because dependence on fossil fuel cannot be phased out completely. I mean, that is what, whatever I understand. So for meeting the base load, we have to have coal lignite, thermal generation. And even beyond 2030, we do have some addition. I mean, one of the speakers mentioned those. By 2031, 32, there would be some addition. So those remain at the center of our discussions. And we also have heard about the role of gas, the city gas supply system, the role of CNG, PNG, LNG, and all these things. We have heard about the water management system, something very, very crucial, water treatment, sewage water, water coming from industries, industrial effluents in water, and how we can move towards waste to energy sectors, waste to wealth generation, and how we can actually bring in circularity in our overall urban existence. We have also heard about the prerogatives and the initiatives taken by various organizations, the premier organizations of our country, NTPC, GAIL, EIL, all these organizations, the commendable measures that they have taken, and they are the ones to lead us forward. So we heard about their initiatives, which are not only technological, but these are also geared towards ecological sustenance. These are also issues which relate to social sustainability. One of our speakers talked about the use of child labor in waste segregation and waste management. So these are very, very significant social components. So we have to look at all these things, and there are many more issues. I personally have a lot of questions, and I'm sure there are many questions in the minds of the audience. So for the paucity of time, I'm taking the permission of the president of our association. Should we keep the question answer session over lunch? So we can continue with this question answers over the interactive session that we have for lunch. Thank you very much. I now request Kaushiki to come up on stage once again for a felicitation of our speakers who have taken their time out and shared their knowledge with us. We are really honored to have them, and we are enlightened. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anindita Di. And I thank our chairperson and all the speakers of this session for such an engaging session. And now I would request Deepak Narayan Boshuda, civil engineering graduate of 1964, to please come on the dais and felicitate our chairperson and the speakers. Our chairperson, Mr. Ujjwal Kanti Bhattacharya, MD Stieg Energy Services Private Limited, and senior advisor in NTPC. We felicitate our speaker, Mr. Asim Prasad, Co-Chairperson, BCC&I, Energy, Environment and Water, National Committee, and Executive Director, Corporate Strategy, Planning, Advocacy, and Corporate Affairs, GAIL India Limited. We also felicitate our speaker, Mr. Mrityunjay Prasad, Senior General Manager and Resident Director, DVC. Thank you. Thank you, Deepak Da. I now invite on stage Partho Sharathi Mondol Dada, a civil engineering graduate in the year 1969. I invite him on dais to felicitate the other speakers. Our speaker, Mr. Parveen Kumar Goel, Chief General Manager, Sustainability and Water Engineers India Limited. Now we felicitate our speaker, Topon Kumar Bandopadhyay. Just a quick photo. We now felicitate our speaker, Mr. Topon Kumar Bandopadhyay, Chief Sustainability Officer and Executive Director, Safety, Sustainable Development, Environment and Ash Management, NTPC Limited. Thank you, sirs, for such a lovely session. We would now disperse for the much-awaited lunch break. A quick photo. Sir. Sure.